You're listening to the Clutter Fairy Weekly, a weekly webcast and podcast brought to you by the Clutter Fairy in Houston, Texas. If you'd like to participate in one of our live webcasts, please visit cfhou.com/weekly. You'll find a calendar of upcoming webcasts, as well as instructions for joining the Zoom meeting via the app or by phone. We'd love to see you. That URL again is cfhou.com/weekly. Now here's the weekly episode. Enjoy.
Hi, Clutter Fairy fans. This is the Clutter Fairy Weekly for December 9th, 2025. I'm your co-host, Ed Gumnick, and I'm speaking with Gayle Goddard, certified professional organizer and owner of the Clutter Fairy in Houston, Texas.
Hi, everybody. The Clutter Fairy Weekly is the webcast and podcast that digs deep into the clutter that piles up between you and the life you want to be living. We explore the habits and behaviors that lead to clutter, and we suggest strategies to slow the accumulation, reduce the collection, and comfortably manage the stuff we decide to keep.
If you're new to our Zoom meeting, we want to let you know that you can share your comments and questions via the chat, and I'll try to make sure Gayle addresses them before we move on to another topic. You can also use the raise hand feature if you'd like to ask a question or make a comment yourself via audio or video. And we are streaming the webcast live on Facebook, so you can share your questions and comments there, and I'll relay them to Gayle. We're going to start by recapping last week's weekly tittle, which was called Twinkling Holiday Lights. The assignment was to reflect on how you'd like to enjoy the holiday season this year, and to get out of the mayhem of Black Friday and all of that. Let's hear from our participants in Zoom and on Facebook who tried our reason for the season themed tittle this week. Please let us know in the comments. YouTube viewer Claire shared a report on how she took herself off the gift shopping treadmill to enjoy a holiday that's within her means. Claire writes, "Over 10 years ago, I politely withdrew from giving anyone gifts at Christmas. I just could not afford to do it any longer and had no capacity to make presents either. I explained carefully my reasons, and everyone was gracious, and a few have followed suit. I don't expect or need any gifts. We do each other's birthdays in grand style, though, taking the time to find and curate particular gifts for special people. My eldest daughter has followed suit. She purchases 10 Christmas Day meals for dogs in a rescue center, and the center sends a video out at midday showing the dogs enjoying their special feast.
Aw.
This is shared by her to those who would traditionally have had a present from her. We all look forward to seeing the pups, and the center gets a well-deserved boost to their funds. I should add that I do small but thoughtful gifts to the children in my life and spend the year seeking out treasures they will enjoy. Thank you for sharing yourself so graciously. I've enjoyed sharing YouTube with you for many years."
That sounds like you worked it out with your family. Like, that's really great. Gifts for the kids, and you skip the gifts for the adults, and then you celebrate the birthdays, which spreads the gift giving throughout the year. And so it's easier to budget that expense, which is excellent. It's really an effective plan that works well for you. And how fun to get the holiday video of the shelter doggies having fancy dinner. I can just see that in my head right now. You've really created an excellent alternative to traditional holiday gift giving. So good on you. Good job. Congrats to Claire for making her celebration budget friendly and appropriate, and um, spreading her expenses out over the year. Like, I think it all works out really well. So great idea. Great solution for you. I love it.
Um, D in the Sierra says, "For whatever reason, all of my holiday events have been scheduled for the first 10 days of December.
Oh,
It's been an
wow.
exhausting week. I hosted a potluck for 11 last night, so I did a lot of
Ooh.
cleaning over Thanksgiving 4-day weekend
Mm,
to prepare."
I'm sure, but how much fun. I hope it was a fun potluck. That's awesome.
Lisa Beth says she's making plans for the No Clutter Fairy holidays. I'll miss you.
Oh, thank you. It's we just need a little bit of a break, you guys. It's a lot to produce this every week, so we just need a little moment where we don't have to do something.
Well, and if you haven't been through our, the catalog of YouTube videos, or if you haven't been following us for very long, we will
There's a lot
probably,
more.
well, and we will probably have a couple of short pre-recorded messages for you during the period we're gone. I only say
Right.
probably because with travel and holidays, you never know how it'll turn out. But we've managed to pull it off most of the years in the past, and so
Yeah.
with any luck, we'll do that this year too.
And there is definitely like if you don't go to the YouTube channel and look at all the other videos, there's a whole library and it's well over 300 videos now. So that's 300 hours. If that doesn't get you through the holiday season, I don't know what will.
Jacqueline says, we had our work Christmas party on Saturday, and all of the cookies I made and the tins I put them in have been gifted and were well received.
Yay, good job.
I am still working on a few gifts for family members, but I feel like I have enough time to get everything done and shipped to arrive in time for Christmas.
Good for
Woohoo!
you. Yeah,
Wow.
that's some good planning. You like worked that out really well.
Let's see.
Everybody loves getting, holiday treats, all that
Con
special candy and cookies and stuff that gets made at the holidays. When you get a batch of that, it's like, ooh, that's exciting.
Connie says, I almost finished all Christmas cookie baking, made a gross at least.
Oh my God, that's
A
a
dozen
lot.
dozen.
Wow.
Um, Connie, do you ship internationally? That's the
All
question.
right, that's the next question for sure. Like, wowza.
Paula says, I house sat out of town last Christmas and realized the two things I really, really like are lights and a tree. The lights and tree are up, and I don't need anything else except my brother's fudge.
There you go. And you're happy. See, that's, pick your priorities, right? Everybody likes having a tree.
Um, Someone asked in the Ask Us Anything questions that I've been reviewing on surveys, um, what what you and I do. What are our holiday decorating traditions? What do you do these days?
Zero. And I'll tell you why. Because for the last 3 decades, I have been going to my families. So my little sister, it has the kids, right? And so, and then once she started having babies, then my parents moved to North Carolina, and my brother-in-law's mother moved to North Carolina, and my grandparents, when they were still alive, moved to North Carolina. Like everybody chased the grandkids. And so all of the holidays have been happening at my sister's house for many years. And so she decorates everything, they go all out because they had little kids. And so those little kids are now in their 20s, okay? But back in the day, so they're the host of the holiday. And so then I'm always gone for a couple weeks at this time of year. And so and then I have cats in the house. And so you can't really leave decor up with cats and no supervision. So I
Not a
stopped
darn thing.
I stopped decorating. So I go and experience all of my holiday decor at my little sister's house and my parents' house, my dad's house, and that's what I do.
And I do whatever Jaime has the time, energy, and inclination to do. That's my holiday. That's the holiday decor I enjoy. Um, we've had about the most we've had in recent years is, a couple strings of lights here and there, on the patio railing or something like that. We
Yeah.
have a little tiny fake Charlie Brown type Christmas tree,
Yeah.
but I don't know if we still have it. If I don't know if it's
Where it
survived
is
the
right now.
last couple of moves and whether it will make an appearance this year or not.
Yeah, how long have you been in the new apartment now?
Since March.
March. Okay, so like
Yeah,
half a year. Okay.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
All right, we should probably get on to our main topic. What do you think?
Okay.
Some of us collect art and decor for our homes as if we're curating a museum, never discarding any precious object that ever caught our fancy for even a moment. But decorative items that are out of step with our current taste and style easily turn to clutter. Today, we're going to identify behaviors that lead to decor clutter and suggest strategies to streamline the stuff that gives your space its one-of-a-kind look.
Decor is a perfect topic for this time of year because this season is one that prompts some people to trade out their regular version for a holiday version. The Christmas tree goes up, holiday themed hand towels in the bathroom, holiday art on the walls, wreaths and garlands hanging around. It's the most common decor update in households following this cultural tradition. So lots of families change out decor during this winter end of year season for their own traditions. Not just Christmas, there's other ones that come with decor as well. Since we're trading decor out anyway, it's the perfect time to discuss capacity and storage of all that stuff and how it gets out of hand and creates issues for our homes. We have tons of habits and behaviors that lead to decor clutter. So let's talk about them. So, on the scale of clutter durability, decor items come in on the high end of the scale. Decor items are usually durable. They may be breakable, they may be fragile, but they are still mostly durable. They're made of wood, ceramic, glass, or metal. These things that are sit around and look at them items will last a long time if they're left alone. Art on the wall, sculpture, glassware sets, ceramics pieces, lamps, accent pillows, metal signs on the wall, candlesticks, candy dishes, holiday themed stuffed dolls. These things can survive indefinitely if they're cared for and they're not disturbed too much. What interrupts their long life cycles if you move and you don't pack carefully. If you have a large dog with a long tail. If you have a cat who likes to knock things off surfaces, as all cats are wont to do. If you have small children or boys of any age, really. If you throw things when you're angry. Sure, these factors may shorten the life of a piece of decor and retire it early, but those things don't happen all the time, and it's not a reliable way to thin the herd, especially if you're collecting faster than the breakage rate in your house. Not many houses have storage space for continuous change of decor scenery throughout the year. It's hard enough to find placement locations for the decor that you want displayed. But good luck finding the out of season decor storage closet in your house. Not many people have extra closet space to stuff the many decor items you're not using right now. You know you're stuffing it anywhere, it'll go, and you're making various storage spaces in your home completely useless for what you really need them to be used for because of that storage.
It
Sorry,
sounds like
allergies
you
today.
it sounds like you need a break for a drink of water.
I'm having allergy things today, sorry.
I'm going to share a comment. Lorraine says, Gail, you deserve a little festivity. Put up a little something.
I was just thinking about that today. Maybe I need to put something in the center of my dining table that looks festive, right?
There you go.
I can do that.
And then cat proof it by putting a dome, like one of those glass dome things, that you
Yeah,
put a cake under. And
right. Luckily my cats aren't too, they're not kittens anymore, so that helps, right?
yeah.
Okay, so everyone, and I mean everyone, when I point at a piece of decor, a client, I mean, and I'm asking them if it's going to stay or it's going to go, they immediately ask me, "Isn't it so cute?" I swear to God, out of everyone's mouth, that sentence comes. Yeah, I get it. It's cute. But you can't keep all the things in the universe that you think are cute. You can't treat decor items, art, handmade objects, etc., as if they're special or sacred or exempt from decluttering rules or fundamentally different from the rest of your stuff. But you do it anyway. And this can manifest in all kinds of ways, including not having any kind of policy like the number of items or a sorting algorithm or a one in, one out rule or container based limit or scheduling any kind of review and adjusting your collection so that you can just keep stuffing more into the storage of the house. Don't hold a standard holding a standard that's too lax, so you don't have a better standard. For example, I'll keep all handmade gifts no matter how ugly they are. Or it's so cute. Like, it's so cute is not a good standard. It's just really not. Keeping items that no longer fit your taste and style. When you retire the style in the house, the items need to retire along with them. But because they're mostly durable, they get seen as still useful, air quotes, still useful, and kept in the house forever. Keeping collections in storage because we don't have enough space to display them and never get around to rotating them in. It's the promise that you'll use it again, but you never actually do use it again. It just crawls into a cabinet to hide for 2 decades instead. And then you have to move and you find it back there still waiting to come out. Adding to our collections of decor without setting a plan, a budget, or any other limits. I don't want to rag on Connie B. She's talked about her large collections of decor around
Hedgehogs.
her hedgehog collection, right? And so we all have a thing that we like to collect, and that thing is usually a piece of decor. And so that decor is becomes an ever expanding storage problem for us, and that is how we get in trouble. I hope you recognize yourself in some of those descriptions. So now that we've explored the issues of decor collections, let's talk some strategies for right sizing the collection and see if we can make them less of a burden to manage. I suggest this understanding what I'm asking. So let me just say first, you can find a resale shop that'll take decor items and you can start an account there and start by dropping off unused decor once a month. Now, all of these resale shops have their own rules about what they'll take when, how many items they'll take. Like you can't just roll up on them like it's Goodwill and come with 500 items and expect them to take all that in. You're going to have to follow their rules but I think what's important is because decor is durable, because it can be reused, it's a good thing to take to a resale shop and put in front of the walking audience that goes through that store to see if someone else wants it and will take it home. And usually those resale stores have rules around they'll leave it out there for sale for a certain amount of time, and then if it doesn't sell, then they donate it. But then they actually go about the business of donating it and you don't have to anymore. So if you can get it into their pipeline, you give it a chance to be purchased by somebody for a while. And then if nobody picks it up, then it goes to donation, and then, it'll have another chance to be picked up where it gets donated. So it does take some of the burden off of you on the back end. Like it's still, you're not going to have to be the one to take it to Goodwill. But in the meantime, you can get some of the things that you are finished with that you think are still in good shape and get them in front of an audience of people that might want them. And so it's worth the effort. It's a little, there's some work involved in submitting things to the resale store. They have sometimes they have rules about how you have to mark them. You have to create lists for them, whatever, you got to show up on specific days to donate specific things because that's when their expert in ceramics is there, whatever. So find one that you like going to, whose rules you're willing to follow, and, get started on making it a regular errand that you go once a month and take something to them on their timeline under their rule system, and see if you can't release some of it that way. Decide how many times a year you'll be rotating the decorative objects around the house. Like how many setups of the surface and the walls in the house will you be using in a year? Do you do it once? Do you do it twice? Do you do it 4 times? Like some people rotate for the 4 seasons. Are you ever going to rotate the decor once you've set it up how you like it? So some people move in, they decorate the place, and then they never want to change, right?
That's me.
So, is that you? All right.
Yeah.
So if you never want to change it again, then, the extra decor that doesn't fit in the house has now been cut off. Like it's not part of the layout, doesn't need to stay, right? So if you are going to change it more than once, then I say pull out all the decor that makes up the next version of how you're going to decorate the house and put them all together and store them together, right? Like when this version comes down and another one comes up, right now maybe that's you've got the regular stuff and the holiday stuff. So you're familiar with packing Christmas all together or whatever winter holiday, you're packing all that stuff together and putting it away as a set. So consider that you're going to do that for all of the versions of the house that you do. So if you want 3 or 4 sets of, I'm going to change it every season or whatever, then make up those 4 sets of how you decorate them and store them that way. And find all the little places you have them stashed everywhere, right? Like you've got them all over the house. So go pull it all out, put the sets together, but how you would use them and box them up and store them that way. You will find as you're doing that how many boxes of stuff there is. Like you're going to be surprised how much stuff it is when you pull it all out, that you have 350 Halloween items because you're into Halloween, or you have way too much spring flower explosion decorations for the spring and you can't use it all. Maybe it's your favorite look, maybe it's your favorite time of year, whatever, and you've collected, but again, you have to pull all those pieces out, that would go during that specific season and find out what works in the house that you're in. And then what doesn't work is now extra. So make those sets, all put them together, make the notes on when each set needs to be displayed, like when you're going to pull it out. Put that installation date in your calendar. You need to go into the calendar in March and say, I'm going to put the spring stuff up on this, this week. Make yourself an appointment and reminders and all that stuff to make it happen. Whatever's left over when you've made all your rotation sets for the house, that should be your first donation pile, straight to the resale shop or donation if you don't want to do the resale route. And if you start missing your installation dates to rotate the decor out, like you scheduled it for March, 31st week of the end of the March, and it doesn't happen, and then it doesn't happen another week, and then it doesn't happen another week. Like if you start missing those, you need to ask yourself, why do I really need, 3 changes of the house when I'm actually not going to do what I say I'm going to do? So create the sets if you think that you want to do it, but if you don't actually do it, then pay attention.
Let me share some comments before we get
Mm.
too far away from them and you move on. Let's see. Lee says, we celebrate the holidays by watching movies and decorating. I will be attempting to make my great grandma's sugar cookie recipe. I'm terrified of messing it up.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be fine. It's sugar cookies, right? Like it's okay.
Bella says, I'm the one with kids. Family comes here, darn it. I'm the host. Find myself
Uh,
planning a tablescape, charger plates, placemats, but can't bring myself to buy the items that will only be used once a year. Also, after chatting with mom, I realized we usually have Chinese hot pot as a family meal for holidays. The table will be full of food for self-serve and self-cook, so there will be no room for a tablescape.
there you
Dodging
go.
dodging a bullet.
Yeah. Hey, that's a buffet as decor instead of decorations. And I have to tell you, I would prefer the hot pot decor to the decorations. I'm sure your guests will love being fed the food that you prepare, so I'm
Right?
sure
You
it'll be
can't
perfect.
eat those plastic
Mm-mm.
gold charger plates that
No,
they sell all over the place this time of year.
it does not help your grumbling tummy that the table is pretty. So nothing like a
Uh,
table groaning with food to make you feel satisfied.
Naomi says, today I made my Christmas baking shopping list.
Mm.
Sometime this week I will help my disabled friend put up her decorations. Other than that, it is concert week. Practice, 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 concert, concert, concert.
Oh,
You remember those days?
I do remember. And my mom and dad used to do that too because they were both in symphony chorus.
Yeah.
And there was always, there was always some crammed practice and performance schedule. And they would do like once during the week. And then they would do like Friday night and Saturday night and Sunday afternoon and Sunday night and Monday night.
All
It's
the
like,
extra rehearsals. Yeah.
yeah. It was
Yeah.
crazy how much that, because they had huge amounts of performance as well as all the rehearsal time. And so, it was right in the big middle of everything. I don't know how my mother did it back when we were kids and she was running back and forth downtown and constantly, she was working and then she'd go to rehearsal and then she'd go to performance. And I don't know how she did it all. But yeah, I remember that rhythm for sure.
Amanda says, my mom used to just push the regular decor back on the shelf to add the Christmas decor. It wasn't until pretty recently that I realized the day-to-day stuff could be put away temporarily to make space for Christmas. Oops.
Oops, right? Actually, years ago, a woman that I worked with invited us. We had to go to Michigan for something related to work, and it was where she lived. And so we went to her house at the holidays, and she was a serious Christmas junkie. And literally everything in their house came down. Every piece of art, every hand towel, everything came off of all the surfaces and got put away. And it was all replaced with Christmas. There was not a thing in the house that wasn't Christmas during the holiday.
Right.
It is the most explosive Christmas decoration I'd ever seen in my life, and it's never been topped. I have never seen anybody go to such lengths as this woman did in her house. And it was quite the spectacle to see. Like it was complete transformation. everything in the house was red and green. It was just
Right?
amazing. And they had more than one Christmas tree all over the house. Like it was Christmas explosion in there. And I can't even imagine how much work it was. And she set it all up in anticipation of us coming to the house, of course. And like I said, I can't even imagine how many hours it must have taken her to do it all. And she and her husband both were totally into it and they loved it. It was their thing. And so it was part of their relationship and how they enjoyed the holiday. And like that was what they did. And I remember walking around with my eyes bugging out of my head going, I mean, every room we went into had been completely transformed. There was not a non-Christmas thing to be had anywhere in the house. It was quite shocking.
We had neighbors like that in a previous place we lived, and they had a storage unit in the apartment complex, and it was one of the bigger ones, like I like want to say 6 by 10 room,
Yeah.
a good sized storage space for an apartment complex. And the probably the first of, I don't know, maybe the first of November, maybe when the Halloween went away was when he went and when one of the guys went and he had a cart and he took several loads of stuff back and stacked them in the hall and then loaded up his cart with Christmas and took all that to the apartment and then had to move all the stuff from the hall back into the storage. And
Oh my gosh.
every single surface was covered with holiday stuff. I feel like he had a collection of nutcrackers. He may have had a collection of nativity sets. And for me, I don't know. I walking in and seeing that the place looks like the store where you buy all the Christmas stuff.
Right?
It's it's not that appealing.
Oh,
You know what I mean? When it just looks like a Christmas store
yeah.
in your home.
Then it's too much.
Yeah, that's my taste.
Yeah, like I said, these people, and part of why it worked for them was because they lived up north and they had a basement in the house. There's no basements in Texas, but up there
Right,
they had a
right.
basement. Their entire basement was full of all the Christmas storage when it was
Wow.
not in season. So they basically had a basement for the express purpose of holding all the Christmas stuff that they put in the house. It was an amazing experience. I will never forget it as long as I live. And
Okay,
gosh, that happened in my 20s.
I think we have time for a few more comments. Have been so many comments already. I don't want to lose track of them before we.
Okay, all right.
And M says I put a wreath on the door and bring out a tiny tree. If I get cards, I hang them where I can enjoy them.
There you go. That's a
Nice,
good one,
simple. I like it.
right?
Um, Ellen commented on your statement about boys of any age. She said, mine are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, plus grands from 10 to 19. Horsing around putting decor in danger still occasionally happens.
I know, right? That's the thing. It's just like when they're little, then they're just ricocheting off the walls. But when they're grown-ups, they still do things that stuff breaks. They manage to knock things apart. They get it, they wrestle, they roughhouse, and yeah, and then things get broken.
Uh-huh.
And they still don't do it as fast as you buy new. So they're not a reliable filtering system, is what I'm saying.
Connie says, I've managed to cull my Christmas decor stuff to 2 large bins. Donated a lot the last 3 years.
That's great. Good for
And,
you.
I mentioned putting a dome over whatever you put in the middle of your table, a
Yeah.
glass dome, and M says, my cats broke my dome. So
Of course they
there
did.
goes that idea.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, and I've just been watching, I just saw a video that was hilarious. It's a cat tree with a Christmas tree built on it. So you
Uh-huh.
build the cat tree and then you stick all these artificial things in it. And so it's like it's a Christmas tree that the cats can climb in and sit in the tree. It's like, well, that's one way to get around them launching themselves onto the tree.
Right? Give them something that
It's
looks like a tree that they can attack instead of a tree.
right, right. It's every cat owner's nightmare and war at the holiday season to keep the cats out of the Christmas tree.
Okay, one more comment, and then I'll let you get back to your list.
Okay.
Uh, Amanda says Santa is about to throw up all over my house this year. My little guy
Um,
is 2, so we are trying to put out everything we have.
oh, right.
Side benefit, it lets us pick and choose what to keep and what to declutter. Most
Mm.
years we get into maybe 4 boxes out of probably 10.
But now's the time to go fishing because you got a 2-year old. So you're getting ready to run the gauntlet of 2 decades of decorating for the children, which is lots of fun. And it means that you've now added to your chore list for the holiday based on decorating for a little kid, which is, they enjoy it so much, and it's totally worth it when you get done with it, but it's a lot of work.
Okay, I lied. One more comment because
Okay.
this is important. This one raises an important topic.
Okay.
Jacqueline says, my friend has a storage unit full of decor she's saving for just in case when she one day buys a house she's renting.
Oh
The
my
amount of
gosh.
money she has spent storing things she will probably never use gives me anxiety.
And she's probably repaid for the contents of those storage units, 5 times over, right? That
Hmm.
rental money would have so much been better spent saving for the down payment on the house. Like, you can't talk to people about that kind of stuff. It's like that money seems like it's insignificant until you realize how many months you pay it and how many years it goes on. And the more you buy, the bigger storage you get, the more expensive the storage is, and you've burned, you wake up a decade later and you've burned $50,000 on storage unit fees, and that's just horrifying to me.
Hmm.
Nobody ever stops to do the math. Like I can show you
Hmm.
1 year. Just take what you pay every month and multiply times 12 and see how big that number is. And that tells you you could have spent that money on decor, or you could have had that in a savings account somewhere, getting you ready to go to the house. And usually there's such a huge disconnect between, she has a dream that she's going to buy a house, but what's the true likelihood that that's going to happen? Like, is there a plan? Is she saving money towards it? Is her job going to allow her to afford a mortgage? Like, let's be realistic about whether you can, if that's a goal that you can actually accomplish or not. And buying stuff on the way for the imaginary house that hasn't happened yet just increases your burden and decreases the money that you can put towards the house. So it's not really an effective plan in terms of budgeting and aiming towards that goal. Yeah, I'm sorry about that because, yeah, too
Okay,
much.
you were at When You Shop?
Yes.
Yeah.
When you shop and look at those lovely decorations in the stores and you find something else that is so cute, it's so cute, you got to stop and ask yourself, where will this be displayed? What am I going to remove to give it a place? Don't assume that you can just cram it in somewhere because that's how it becomes clutter immediately. If you're going to want more decor, you have to develop the ability to surrender existing items to give the new pieces a place. Your house isn't getting any bigger. The surfaces that you have to display are not changing. The walls are not growing or getting longer. Like, there's only so much. And I had tons of art that came with me to the new house, but because my central living area, living, kitchen, dining is all open concept, right? So I'm missing a whole bunch of separating walls that used to be there
Right.
that I would have hung things on, but the walls are not there. So there's a whole lot, and I have really big windows in the front and back of the house. And so there's much less wall space in my house than there was in the place that I lived previously. And so a lot of the art that came with me, I have to send things on because I can't possibly hang it all without it looking like a huge vomit of art in my house. And so it would have to be really crammed in the small spaces that I have already. And I don't want to do that. So, you end up with way more than you can put up, and the house isn't changing. Its configuration isn't changing. At most, you can add you might add or subtract a piece of furniture that has better, display capacity, or you might put in a storage cabinet or something that allows you to just have some things on display. But otherwise, there's only so many surfaces in your house. There's only so many places you can put stuff, and that those parameters of that house are not changing. So you have decor parameters. You have a capacity the house can hold and use and show, and everything else is just extra hassle for you and extra things that have to be stored. And you need that storage unit, you need that storage capacity in your house for other things besides the decor. You need it for your clothes and your shoes and your kitchen gear and your, like, you need the storage for the things that you have to use
that
to
you
function in the house
that
and
right that you
live.
must cycle through, like
Yeah.
sets of sheets, sets of towels, the addition,
Your
additional
toiletries
clothes
in the
besides
bathroom.
the ones you're wearing at the moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas your decor doesn't require backup,
Right, exactly.
strictly speaking.
Strictly speaking, exactly.
Yeah.
And then, people default to, well, I can store it in the garage. Well, sure you can. And it's going to get hot out there or it's going to get super cold out there. And that's going to accelerate the deterioration
Damp,
of some of the
damp.
stuff.
Yeah.
It might be damp. It might get roach infested or rodent infested if you have problems like that out in the garage. Like the garage environment, atmosphere. What am I trying to say here? It's not insulated and protected and airtight in the same way that the house is. And so there's way more things that can be a problem for the stuff that's stored in the garage. And so I've gone in and dug out garages and found that all the extra decor that's been stashed there, and you pull it out and it's been there for a decade, and it's been through 10 hot summers and 10 frozen winters, and has, it's been a mouse house, and it's been, dug in and eaten on and slept in, and and it's basically destroyed. So you put it out there and store it and then leave it there and watch it slowly become useless instead of giving it away when you declare that you're not going to use it and letting somebody else use it instead of letting it just die slowly in your garage. So, yeah, it's a problem. Here's another strategy to cope and regulate your online shopping for items that are just to look pretty, that aren't things that aren't going to be used up. You might consider a ban on buying non-consumables online. If you want new pieces to sit around the house, you have to go shop in person for them. You can't just order them online and let them come to you. I think ordering things to run your household, I got to have food. I got to have pet food. I need new toilet paper. I got, blah, blah, blah. The things that you are using up and repeatedly using up to live, I get it. And it's a hassle. And you have to go to the grocery store every week and and so having all that stuff come to the house, fine. But I think ordering pretty things that have no purpose other than to look cute in the house, that's, man, the internet is vast and you could find all kinds of things like that online. And if you want to control that for yourself, consider saying that you're not allowed to buy that kind of stuff online.
Well,
And
then you'll have greater control over the quality of what you're getting because,
yes, because you order stuff and it looks good and it's not really that.
yeah. And also,
Mhm.
if you're concerned about if you have environmental concerns or ethical concerns, you have a little more control over,
Where the source of the object and what it's made out of.
yeah.
100%. And so I saw somebody flash by on there that said, buy from local artists. Absolutely. If you want decor, go and support a local artist that is doing their best to make a living as an artist and let that decor come into your house instead of the stuff that's being shipped from China or being, manufactured out of plastic and sent to you. My little sister ordered me a housewarming gift, and she thought she was buying a stained glass window that had a cat in it. And
Hmm.
what came was acrylic, not glass.
Yeah,
So the heading,
with a
yeah, yeah, they
printed
had been,
surface.
painted or
Yeah,
inked somehow, right?
right.
And so it read stained glass in the listing, but they were basically saying it's made to look like stained glass, and she didn't read it carefully enough. And what came was, now what's good about the acrylic is it's lightweight, so I don't worry about it falling off the wall and shattering in a million pieces, but it's also not what she thought it was going to be.
Right.
And so it's cute and I love it, and it's from my sister and all that. But she took a shot, and what she had in her mind was not what actually showed up. And that happens online a lot. And so how you fix that is you go stand there and touch it with your hands. And I think that's, it's a better way to shop for that kind of decor stuff. So consider putting a ban on yourself.
And it's also a reasonable limit to put on yourself because, like I said, your decor doesn't need backup. Your decor also isn't urgent.
Hmm.
It's the existence of a blank space on a wall is not an emergency.
Right. Exactly.
You can take your time and
Hmm. And find the exact right
find the
thing.
thing that you really want. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me share a couple more comments. D in the Sierra says, my mom thought her stuff was worth a lot, so she took a car, worth a lot in quotation marks.
Right.
So she took a carload to a consignment shop. They only accepted some of her items, and she ended up with not much money. My dad says they spent more on gas to get to the store. I'm hoping this experience will help when she asks me to help her decluttering next time.
Well, and truthfully, going to a resale shop is not about making a lot of money off of the stuff, right? Your decor, you paid way more than it will be valued on the back end for resale. That's never you're never going to recoup your money. It really isn't about, it's just a bonus that you make a little bit of money. But the truth is, you really just want to put it in front of an audience. And that's a way for you to get your stuff back into a store, air quoting. It's in a store where people are walking by looking for things to buy. And so it's the closest way, easiest way for you to put your things in front of a continuous shopping audience that you would be hard pressed to recreate yourself personally. And so you get a wider opportunity for someone to take it home. And then you get the added benefit of if it doesn't sell within a time period, they will donate it and you don't have to. And so it gives you the option for somebody to pay for it. And if somebody doesn't pay for it, it still goes to donation. And so it's just a way for you to have a couple more steps to relocating it before it goes away. But if it's too much of a hassle and you don't like it, then don't do it. Just donate it straight away. Totally.
Linda says, I'm on a one in, one out routine for everything, including decor
Good deal.
and anything new that comes in at Christmas. This is so helpful to me. Favorite part of Christmas for this classical music fan, all the beautiful music.
Right? Everybody starts doing all their performances for the holiday. Yeah, it's wonderful. It's
And
totally true.
Linda reiterates one of the points we're trying to make, which is um, part of why decor becomes a clutter problem is that we privilege it above other types of stuff for some reason. It
Hmm.
maybe because it has that this is just pretty. This doesn't have to be useful. This can just be pretty.
Right. And
Um,
it's durable. Like it's not falling apart as you watch it. It's the
right,
vase stays a vase for as long as you manage to not break it, is what I'm saying.
right. But we're suggesting is no, the same kinds of rules should apply to your decor
Yeah.
as apply to
It's
all the
everything
other
else.
parts. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I would say actually more so because they only have one use. Your house can only hold so much. And you really need to, it's not like clothes where you can keep expanding the collection and you can keep wearing them all and like they're going to get used over and over again, maybe. And we won't divert to the clothes conversation, but at least in theory, clothes are something that you're wearing and you're going to get use out of them repeatedly. And the decor stuff goes up and sits there until you take it down. And
And
so
and clothes will get used up. Clothes,
eventually will
no matter
deteriorate.
how
Yes.
careful you care for them, clothes will eventually wear out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 100%.
Um, Beth commented, and I think this is when I was talking about my former neighbor. My sister-in-law does this with every holiday, so cycling in and out a set of decorations for every single holiday.
And
Uh,
I know that people that have kids do that, and people that are very they're into interior design and interior decoration. Like it's part of the thrill for them to change the house up and to make it basically refresh it and make it seasonally appropriate and that's how they want to spend their time and that's awesome. If that's something that you're into, great. And you still only have so many ways that you can decorate the house and the house still isn't changing size or shape and the furniture isn't moving and there's only so much you can do. And so keeping stuff that isn't going to come out or get used is just a storage problem for you, bottom line, no matter what.
okay, let's go on. Let's see, where were we? Don't
This
forget
is another
that's,
strategy.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Don't forget that schools and daycare and various charities might be able to use some of the decor. Teachers can use holiday decorations in a classroom and not spend their own money on it, which, the schools aren't providing them decor for their classroom. They're buying it themselves. And so it's a good place to offer. if you have kids in school or you have a school in your neighborhood nearby, especially elementary school, go over with stuff and offer, go into the office and say, I have this stuff and could some of the teachers use it and offer it away. Churches and other nonprofits might use some to decorate their own facilities. So, large institutions, large businesses, large nonprofit and offices, they decorate a whole lot, right? They usually have a larger space to handle and lots of rooms to decorate. And so you can add into some place that maybe doesn't have a lot of budget for it, right? So call them and offer things to them. Think about your office and the decorations that they have. Could you add to their stash? So imagine the large buildings and businesses that you go in and out of that have large facilities basically, and see if you can add some things to their stash. Some of those nonprofits don't have any money for a budget for decor, or they don't want to spend, they don't feel like it's a responsible way to spend their money. And so free decorations from you is something that they don't have to spend money on. So it might be worth it to ask there. Don't forget the resource of urban recycling. You can place things at the curb with a free sign and let others come by and pick them up. You can also put them out before junk pickup day when the junk trash haulers come around, and let those that drive around and pick those piles in advance take your stuff. So things that are in good shape are popular, especially because most stuff that's put out on junk trash day is falling apart already. So if you're putting out things that are in good shape, the people that pick those piles in advance are going to come and take things away like that right away. So you usually have several days, like you can put it out the weekend before the junk trash truck comes by. And so put it out and then it sits out there for a few days and somebody will come by and pick through it. I've had a lot of things walk off like that. It's very easy. And once you put it out, I remember distinctly, I put out some holiday decorations one season. Oh gosh, it's probably been 15 years ago at another location. And I lived on a street that had a lot of traffic in the neighborhood. And people drove by and they realized that I would put stuff down at the curb all the time. And so I was often putting things that I thought Goodwill wouldn't use, but I would put them from clients. But Goodwill wouldn't take them, but I would put them at the end of my driveway instead. And somebody inevitably would come by and take them off. And so when I put holiday stuff out, somebody stopped and I came out while she was going through the stuff, and she was like, oh my gosh, I don't have anything for Christmas, and I don't have any money this season, and I'm so excited I get to have some Christmas decorations. I don't have any, and she was thrilled to have it, and I was thrilled that somebody came and picked it up that needed it. So use your curb, put it out there, and truthfully, you can put it out for a day, and if it doesn't get picked up in a day, then you can pull it back in and take it off to donation, but you can try the curb first and see if somebody walks off with it. Usually it'll be gone pretty quickly. The last thing I'll say is you just have to think creatively about redistribution. Don't look at your family and friends because they have their own collections. You don't need to add to someone else's storage problem. So think instead about organizations or people with limited budgets for whom new stuff is out of their budget. Who would be shopping for this stuff at a garage sale? That's who you can offer things to, and you'll find somebody that needs them. You just have to do a little creative, searching for an available space that could use them.
Let me share some more comments on the subject of storage units and the sunk cost thereof. Terry says, don't look back in shame and regret. That money's gone. But look forward. Think about how much you'd have at the end of next year if you didn't spend money on the storage unit. For example, if you pay $100 a month, at the end of the year, you have $1,200 to spend on yourself. And she goes on to say, people don't like to think about things that make them feel bad, which means they ignore the stuff in storage. But I find looking forward to be more hopeful and might trigger action.
Well, and I like the idea of thinking of it as a savings account, right? Like if you aren't spending, if you empty the storage unit, however you accomplish that, and then you're not spending that money every month, then you could take the same money and put it into a savings account. And like you said, at the end, you'd have $1,200. If $100 is a cheap storage unit, let me just tell you that most people are paying more than that, and some people have more than one unit. And so I've known clients that spent $800,000 a month on storage, and that money adds up really quickly when you have more than one unit. So the idea of keeping all of your stuff in jail for
Yes.
like you're paying for the stuff to be in jail.
In
Um,
the dark. It's
in
not, in jail they have, lights. Your poor stuff is sitting in the dark.
in the dark, exactly. So, it's worth it to redistribute it, not hold on to it anymore, and not spend the money. And I know that that's a whole nother show, like why things end up in the storage unit and why it's hard to face it. But I'm just talking about in terms of money. If you can empty the storage units, you're creating a savings account for yourself. You can just divert that money into your own wish list. I want to go to Hawaii this year. I want to whatever, fill in the blank, and save the money some other way. And then not be bound to those storage units instead.
Paula says, I have no decorating skills, so tossed the vast majority of decor items. I'm happy
Mm.
to live with blank walls and no knickknacks.
There you go. That's okay. That's the minimalist version of decor, and it totally works. And good for
Well,
you.
and I tend toward minimalist taste in decor. I don't really want much. My youngest sister has
A lot.
hundreds of artworks she's done herself.
Hmm.
Um, eh, um,
And she's
s-
into
and
she's into that
she's
kind of stuff.
also, she also has frequently traded for art with other
Mm.
artists.
Hmm.
If they're at a show, they're packing up to go home from the show, and it's like, I really love that. Can I have that? You want anything of mine? And they just trade. So she's got all kinds of other works by local artists, and like every inch of wall space is covered.
I know. And that was Penny's decorating style too. She liked to create montages of things on the walls, big collections of all her stuff. And it was always very lovely when she did it. It was absolutely lovely. And I found it, she had a big, one of the rooms in her bedroom had a whole display of all kinds of stuff. And it was all things that represented parts of her life. And it was,
Hmm.
new and not new and memory pieces. And it was lovely. And I would never have been able to look at that much stuff in my bedroom. Like it was just too busy for me in the bedroom. But she loved that kind of decoration and she did
Yeah.
it well. I mean, it looked really nice. So it wasn't like it was a explosion, but it was too busy for me. And I think, decor is all about the visual look, right? And so if you find busyness distracting or disturbing or, agitating, that clean surface with one thing on it is much more soothing to you than a space that has a whole bunch of stuff all decorated up. And so it's just a preference in terms of what you visually find soothing.
Yeah.
And you know like I said, I love looking at Penny's room, but I didn't have to live in her bedroom. It was not I wasn't trying to sleep with all that stuff on the wall. So
Yeah. What's fun and distracting for, I mean, what's fun and entertaining for you might be overstimulating and distracting for
for
someone
someone
else.
else, yeah. And
Yeah.
that's just how you find visual stimulus and whether at what level of density becomes distracting or distressing instead of soothing and entertaining, I guess. So everybody's different about that, and you have to make your house work for you.
Pat says, I gave Christmas stuff to a vendor that sells at a market. Nice to know that it was out there to be enjoyed.
Right? That's
That's
a
a
good
great
idea.
idea. Yeah,
Hmm.
you can
They
you
decorated their
can
booth with it.
yeah, if you have if you frequent stores that have standing booths, you can talk to the people whose stuff looks like the stuff that you are planning to unload, and ask them if
Mm,
they're interested, because especially if they go to the seasonal markets, the pop-up markets and things like that,
yeah.
they might want some extra stuff that you can
Yeah, they're
donate.
trying to create atmosphere, right? And so, yeah.
D in the Sierras says less decor equals faster dusting. Darn right.
Yes, that
I
is true.
I look at that the decor behind you in I mean, behind both of us in our
Mm-hmm.
background today, and I'm thinking, yeah, that's all. It's all dust collectors.
Yeah. All things you got to run a Swiffer around, right?
I'm not really sure whether the ball of twine behind your shoulder there is see the ball of twine?
Oh,
Is that I'm not sure if that's part of the decor or just
I
an
think
accident.
somebody forgot to put it away after that.
Okay, we are just about out of time. Let's talk about next week.
Okay.
We are going to be back next week for an Ask Us Anything episode. I have not picked the questions we're going to talk about, but none of them will be about decor. You can be sure that about that. So join us next week, December 16th at the usual time. As I mentioned last week, we'll have no show on December 23rd or December 30th while we are celebrating the holidays. But keep an eye on our YouTube channel for some short videos. And then we will be back on January 6th, 2026 for our first show of next year. That is going to probably be something about New Year's resolutions, why they don't work, and what we suggest instead.
Right.
Um, Gail, why don't you give us the title?
Okay. This week's title: Your decorating statement of principles. This week's assignment is to craft a decluttering algorithm slash personal manifesto to fit your style and decorating aesthetic. Reflect on the features that you consider important elements of the decorative style of your home. What colors, materials, textures, collections, and types of items would you like to include or have you tended to incorporate in the past? Write a few statements that encapsulate the key components of your home's existing style, the decorating principles that you like to embrace, and the practical limits that you plan to observe. And here's some examples. Everything decorative in my space should make me smile when I look at it. I like natural materials, watercolor paintings, and handmade ceramics. Any horizontal surface should contain no more than 5, and ideally no more than 3 decorative items. I prefer handmade or one-of-a-kind decorative objects to mass-produced items. My motif scheme is a cool color palette of blues, greens, and neutral shades. The decor in my home should include only beautiful, useful, or sentimentally rich objects. These are all examples of sentences that you might use to describe your
Your
thoughts
principles.
about your principles on it. Now, evaluate the contents of one room in terms of those statements that you wrote. Are there items that don't meet the set standards you wrote? Think about situations in which you'll allow exceptions. For example, this lamp is ugly, but it's the only memento I have of Aunt Mary. So maybe there's an exception or two that doesn't quite fit the aesthetic or the thought that you have in the picture you have in your mind, but the fact that it is of sentimental value to you trumps that statement. Take your design statement of principles with you as you shop for new decor and examine each prospective purchase to make sure that it meets the style standards you've established. And then revise your statements as needed if you find that they're either too lax or too restrictive. So you want to create your idea of what the aesthetic of your house is going to be like, how you want that decor to look in general, and give yourself some sentences to describe it, and then go use them when you are trying to decide whether to buy something or not. If you find something cute that doesn't fit in the layout that you're trying to create, you have to ask yourself why it gets to come home with you. If it's not going to get put up, if it's not going to look right when you get it in your house, you need to consider that, yeah, it can be cute in the store and it doesn't have to come home with you. I'm just saying. And then, write about it and come back and tell us about it next week so we know how it went.
We started just a minute late, so I want to go over just a smidge by asking you one more question, Gail, which is what would you say is the decor item or category that you haul off the most of when you're working with clients?
Oh, I would say that it is artwork.
Hmm.
Things that people have bought to hang on the wall and then they've moved and the artwork has come with them and somehow artwork feels like it's inviolate and it can't be given away because it's artwork. And
Right.
yet that I am always having to find a place to stash a big stack of artwork that's got a frame and glass on the front of it, so it's breakable, easily broken, and it needs to be stored against a wall somewhere. And depending on how big it is, like maybe it's a huge thing and it takes up a huge amount, whatever closet I put it in. I do everything I can to make it compact, but they just get in the way. And
Okay.
then they ruin that closet for any other use, really. It's very annoying.
Yeah. Right. If you're watching this on YouTube, we'd love for you to join us live. To get notifications about upcoming events, we invite you to join the meetup group by visiting cfhou.com/meetup. You can also follow us on Facebook by visiting cfhou.com/Facebook or join our mailing list by visiting cfhou.com/subscribe. We love to hear from you, so please keep your questions, comments, and topic suggestions coming on YouTube, Facebook, or anywhere that you find us. You can always reach us through our website at clutterfairyhouston.com.
You can also go to YouTube, cfhou.com/YouTube, and see everything that we have out there. We have all kinds of videos to keep you entertained if you're having Clutter Fairy withdrawal later in the year. We can make that happen. And you can also scroll through and find, because Ed does a great job of cataloging the videos by topic. So there's collections out there of, I want to see all the videos about moving, or I want to see all the videos about bedroom. And you can go scroll through the catalog and see topic centered collections. So don't forget those out there if you need specific help on something. Otherwise, we will see you guys next week. Thanks for coming. We love you.
Bye bye.
Bye.